Hey guys, Mike here. So, boy, what a crazy day in the market. You got Tesla going absolutely nuts. We're going to go over that one. You got HIMS getting absolutely massacred out there, losing a third of its value when it lost a pretty big partnership. And it was really the reasoning they gave for the separation of this partnership. You got SMCI going down on news as well. And we'll go into a few others. Obviously, we have volatility today because you got Iran, shooting missiles into our bases. And of course, the market's like, oh my goodness. And of course, you come back from lunch and you go, wait a minute, is it over? Because the market just rallied like crazy again. It does not care about war news. I care. I'm sure you care on a personal basis, hoping our soldiers and civilians, Americans are safe. Everybody, for that matter, because shockingly they retaliated. I cannot believe it. And so we'll see if this is going to escalate. But when it comes to the market, no. I mean, any little sell off of any of that news is getting bought up and then going even higher afterwards, which is always interesting to see. But the funny thing is, if you actually go to the dot-com bubble, like the bottom of the dot-com bubble was right around within like weeks of when we invaded Iraq. I mean, it's just insane. So remember, if you ever in a recession and you ever want to get a country out of a recession very quickly, number one thing you do, you go to war. It is, what pulled us out of the Great Depression? World War II. Okay, and so war is good for business, bad for us, bad for people, I guess you can say. Okay, and bad for soldiers and stuff. So anyway, getting into these stocks right here, we'll talk about Tesla. I mean, just an amazing move today. I mean, look at that candle. Holy moly, up almost 11%, and it just kept pushing. And as a side note, when you look, you see how it shot right through that daily fair value gap. And when you see a major fair value gap get violated like that, I mean, just come right up into it and blow right through it. Odds are you're going to see a retest and keep pushing higher, or it's just going to keep pushing higher, okay, on those large fair value gaps. I've showed you many times where it'll come up in there, it'll slow down, reject down, all that good stuff. But and Tesla's been known to do this, it does it probably more than any other stock. When that happens, you can continue to see this go higher. And what happens? What are we talking about? The call volume, man. 54 million right there early on. And that's a 955. You can see it's right there in the middle of the fair value. You got to be like, okay, maybe we're going to slow down here. That's usually what you kind of see happen. It's a draw on liquidity. That's why we had it marked out forever. And then, of course, 9 minutes later, here comes call volume, right? Now we're going from 55 to around 70 million in call volume. You can see now it's mitigated the whole thing. 9 minutes later, it's gone. So within open, this thing is already mitigated. There's about another 10 minutes. Now we're up over 100 million. So it's only 10:30 in the morning at this point in time. Then finally, this is the last one, and I had to go entertain my nieces who were in town. 116 million. I mean, calls just flowing, and just look at that candle. Just blowing up there. Oh, my goodness. And it finally took a break in the afternoon right there. Such a huge push. People start taking profit. But again, where is it reaching for? Where can it reach for? The real draw is going to be, you can see that level right up here, which we'll mark out. And we kind of talked about this around at 360, 365, right in there. And so we'll put a line there. If we reach it, it should take that part out. I don't know if that's going to happen tomorrow or the next day, whatever. You would, we'll talk about that in a second, because that is a huge move today. And it wasn't any news. It was just, the robo-taxis got rolled out. That was it. And Tesla starts, pumping like crazy, because it was pumping even when the market wasn't pumping. So, again, everybody starts flowing into this stock. And then, of course, all the other stocks get really quiet. It kind of just takes all the oxygen out of the rest of the Mag 7 and stuff when this happens. But, looking at this right here, to reach that level is only 6%. And so, again, we were 11% today. And so what you would hope to happen is we mark out this area right here. If we do come down, let's say overnight, pre-market, maybe even tomorrow if we take a break, which again, Tesla doesn't have to do this, but it'd be nice to come down to that level right there, get a nice little bounce, give a chance for people to reload, and then start heading back up to that line. That will be the perfect setup for sure, no doubt. And a much safer re-entry if you're already out, or even more if you want to load even more Tesla into this thing. But obviously, does it have to? No, it does not. We'll just watch the call volume, see if it starts flooding it again. Again, we have this bullish pennant. We already knew about this. We've talked about this multiple times here. See, and sometimes what Tesla likes to do, and you're hoping it, is it'll have this big move up, and then it'll kind of form a bull flag right there, and then another explosive push up is what happens. But again, this robo-taxi event goes on for over a month as they're rolling this out and stuff. So, and that would also put us back down to a 0.5 fibs. You get to buy at a discount. whether you're doing options or whatever. So just want to put that out there to you. Let me know what you think. HIMS absolutely nuked, and almost 33% today off of this news right here. You can see Novo halt sales on HIMS and hers, claiming deceptive marketing practices. And I'll let you do all your research. I just did a whole video on that for the members and stuff. But again, somebody always knows, baby. I mean, Friday, someone bought 200,000 worth of HIMS right before close right there. And suppose if they held, it was worth more than $2 million for sure. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Somebody always knows, and since the SEC never pays attention or don't care whatever about insider trading, it's clearly, it could have been pure dumb luck. But right at close, like I think somebody knew something was up. So no doubt about that. At first, it held the 0.5 fib. Finally, later on, broke through that right there, mitigated the rest of that weekly fair value gap right there, as you can see. Now, is this an overreaction? Not really, because, when I was doing research, it's a lot of revenue they're going to lose on this. They were projecting, like I think it was 700 million. That's what I was showing members on this, just from that whole partnership. And so that's a lot. That is a lot. And so, can we drop farther? Absolutely, we can drop farther. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, this is where the 3-day rule comes in. They always say, watch for 3 days, see what happens, see if we get a consolidation, or it starts to, all of a sudden some news starts to come out about something else, and maybe it's more positive. We've seen this on HIMS before for sure, but it's a high flyer, which means it can fly high and it can drop, as you can see, super fast. Obviously, a third of your value is an insane drop in 1 day. I mean, 33% is huge. You can see what the golden pocket is. We have another week fair value gap below that, 200 moving average. All that fun stuff, okay? I know people are buying today. Some people are going to wait the 3 days. Some people will not. And, do you expect to bounce off a 33% drop? Sure. I mean, it'd be nice to see that or whatever. But again, we're below the 50. After getting rejected, trying to come back above it. We are above the 200, but there's a lot of liquidity below. And the market just has to reprice this in. FMCI, big old drop down. And what they do, they issued a $2.3 billion debt surprise. Okay, so what they're going to do here is raise $2 billion through convertible senior notes due in 2030 with the potential to tack on another $300 million if demand's there. The notes are being offered exclusively to qualified institutional buyers and can convert into stock or cash under certain conditions. As a part of the plan, Super Micro is also buying back up to $200 million of its own shares and private deals alongside the offering. And when you look at this one, we'll go to the chart right here. Obviously, a nice little level at 41.03 right there. If that breaks, which I would not be surprised if it did or not, you can see that big old box I got right there, which I hate that it's that big, to be totally honest with you. But I mean, we're in this like huge triangle right there, and you can see it needs to hold this level. If not, it's going to fall into this little gap right here. There's the 50 and the 200 right there, as we can see. I believe in after hours, it's down a little more. So, we're going to see this is a big laggard to begin with. Again, all the accounting issues and every freaking thing else. And you really want to hold that POC right there. If not, then, 37, 38.50, somewhere in there, which is also where the moving average is at, and a daily fair value gap is where we can fall and stuff. So we'll have to see on this one. And for me, this is one of those things I'm definitely going to wait on this one to see if we can even get back to breaking back out of this around that 44, 45 area before I would touch this one for sure. Now, when you look over something that's not a high flyer, you look at Apple, again, it's sitting there just kind of consolidating after breaking out of that trend line right there. Still a big laggard in this one for sure, no doubt about it. If the market can continue to push, you're going to eventually, hopefully, see this one try to play catch up like it has multiple times in the past. That'd be between the 210, 220 area, which would be filling that gap right there, completing that gap fill, and finally get a 50% retracement back up from the bottom right here. And remember, this one, like so many other stocks, you'll see this seasonality stuff go, oh, wow, look, July is one of the best months, which it is, for Apple. Okay, I've showed members this, but the difference is it's because July is one of the biggest months for the whole market, if it has it. Okay, that is the key. I mean, and it's not 7%. That's the average, but honestly, you have some flyers, right? Take the 18% out, take the 16% out, and then start doing your math. So probably more like 4.5% really. But that's still better than I think every other month on here when you look at this. So again, and that's because the whole market usually moves in July, and then August, September, beginning October. Can see kind of rough, especially even the second half of July. And again, Microsoft's still booming, and so this divergence keeps getting really bigger and bigger. So money continues to flow into Microsoft, and it has no resistance, unlike Apple. Okay. Amazon here, watch this one because it has retraced back down, hit that 0.5 fib right there, mitigate that daily fair value gap. And so this one could see a bounce right here. If it does, that shaded area up top will be where to look at, but around like 208.30 so far is holding. If it doesn't hold, look somewhere in around that 203, 205 area, which is where the 200 moving average is as well, plus your golden pocket right there for a bounce. And if we can get that bounce, you know, then you're looking around between 220, 225 up there, which is where the old box is, you can see. Which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a weekly fair value gap. So that would be the draw moving up from there. And so that would be a nice move up. I think the line in the sand will definitely be the white line right there, which is where the 50 moving average is, which is right around like 199.50. If it decides it wants to continue to sell down from here, which basically means I think the market's coming down. Another reason too is you have like a double top a day on your 4-hour chart, and the target right there is 199.03, I believe. And so definitely watch that one for sure. And then you look over here. Lastly at SPY, and when we look at this one, you can see we came down and tested this trend line once again, and it's trying to hold and stuff. And that was the whole, you know, Iran's launching missiles at us, retaliating, and then boom, nice big, huge 1.2% bounce back up on this one. And so, but again, when it's all said and done, we're really just in this range. You know, so I keep telling members, we're just in this range. And so we have plenty of news. We have volatility off of. We have the war news to have volatility off of. We got Jerome Powell. He's going to be speaking or actually testifying Tuesday and Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, on this right here. And so again, now we broke above this trend line. Let's see if we're going to hold this overnight, because every time we sell down on war news, immediately we either go flat or green overnight, right? So the European session and the Asian session is buying all the dips and stuff. And so that shaded area you see up there, or the box up there, that's that daily fair value gap, which we hadn't even touched back into since June 11th. So it's been quite a few weeks. Again, we only have, this is it, like Monday, next Monday is actually a week from now, we wrap up June and start heading into July, okay? Now, when you look at earnings, do have some earnings. Carnival Cruise Line in the morning, are we still traveling? And FedEx, okay? So that'll give us a little news on the economy right there. And then we have CB Consumer Confidence and Richmond Fed Manufacturing after the bell at 10 a.m. So not really big news, to be honest with you, at all. And the news this morning really didn't do much for us either, so as far as the data is concerned. So anyway, hope you guys got some out of it. Please hit that like, subscribe button if you did. And let me know how you plan any of those stocks right there. Think about signing up for the membership and left them at McDonald's combo. And that's everything you get with it. And I will see you guys tomorrow.